I have some suggestions. So I will say that out of
Oh,
every problem that what's up?
one more thing I also wanted to point out is that I do recall you saying that when you fought Mango for the first time in like friendlies, like you
Hmm.
one of your takeaways is that you needed to speed up, and I was
Yeah,
wondering what the process looked like to you.
yeah. It's so at that time it wasn't really a like specified process. It was more that I played him and I felt like I was getting run over and that I wasn't making decisions quickly enough. And
Yep.
like I I, I basically I think it's important like so you play Mango frequently enough to the point where you can play him and you have to like remember the like I'm sure you know like when you play
Yeah,
Plopper Mango or Cody,
yeah, those are
it's
fast
different,
people.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And then when you go back to playing someone else, whether that be someone on unranked or someone who just like plays slower, like you have to remember that feeling and like make it part of your own. Like you have to carry that speed with you and make it ingrained for your own play style. And I will say that out of every problem that you could have, I think this is the best problem because it's surely in something like execution based. So if there's like an executional problem, I think that's the best thing to fix
Kind
because
of. It's like
it's
I know I get where you're going with that because like it's on one hand there's just one simple solution to it, and then on the other hand it's actually been like something that's been an issue for me for
really.
actually a long time. It's something I worked around rather than trying to confront it
Hmm.
for a long time for me because you know. There's this thing where Cody critiqued me. He's like, "Oh yeah, your wave dash S smashes are actually a little slow because like you don't immediately input the S smash, so then I could
Right.
react it by shielding." And you know what was my immediate first response to it? It's like, oh, then it's a mix up about Wave Dash, and then I could just Wave Dash grab instead.
Grab.
But like, it's much more simple to just freaking get out and Wave Dash forward
Just make
smash
it.
in the first
Yeah, yeah,
place.
yeah.
So it's like,
Definitely.
yeah, I get what you're saying with that. But at the same time, with me, it's something I've actually always struggled with, which is
Okay.
strange, because like, it's not like I play like the most technical character per se, but it's like still like I've
It's not, but it still requires a decent amount of. So if when I, in contrast, when I watch you versus like Forrest and Reeve,
yeah,
who, I mean, I'd say like you perform way better, right?
yeah,
But they are strictly like definitely faster in
yeah.
their decision making. And I feel like when I played, even in the Ditto, when I played you, I felt like you were making good decisions consistently, but I felt like I had windows to decide, like to
Dude,
like
I remember the first couple interactions, like I had a game plan specifically for you, and I was whiff punishing really well, up until you waveland off the top platform, and I just got straight hit. I was like, oh, god damn it. That, like, you probably don't remember, but that's what I remember in a
was that on
set where,
Battlefield?
yeah, in Battlefield, where, like,
Okay,
you
yeah,
were doing, like, slight approaching aerials, and I was whiff punishing that really well.
yeah. Hmm.
Until you waveland off the top platform, and, like, it caught me by surprise.
Right.
And then like it felt like you kind of ran me over from there.
Did it feel like running up? Like, did it feel like a speed thing, and that's it, or do you feel like it was something else?
It was a combination of both a little bit of speed and then like you out punched me really hard. But
Hmm.
like there was some neutral interactions where like it was definitely some speed issues.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'd say another remedy for it, which you might not like, um, and it's something that
Say
helped
it.
me a lot, is playing Fox more frequently.
Okay.
Um, and that you don't even have to think too hard. It's literally just getting how good is your Fox?
It's okay. Like it's probably like my third most played character at this point. It used to be second, but then like I've been liking playing Falco a lot more recently. But
Right.
I mean
I'd
I
say
still like playing Fox here and
Fox
there.
is definitely more beneficial for speeding you up in general. Um, and that's something that I did like in my third year of playing or whatever. I started dabbling with Fox more, and then I realized that my Marth had just gotten faster in the process of playing Fox. Um,
So when you say
and
faster, do you mean like what do you mean more like execution or decision making?
everything. So executionally, after playing Fox, Marth stuff just feels easier to do.
Right.
So I won't miss execution, and also I feel like I can. What's the best way to describe this? I think something that can help, and this is gonna sound really dumb, is if you go on unranked or whatever, and whenever you do play on unranked, just play really dumb.
Okay.
Like, because it's not playing on rank doesn't matter that much,
Yeah.
and I want you to just try to like I like the term muscle brain, which is basically just like complete execution. I
Yeah.
want you to try to just be off of punish, be as fast as possible off of hit. In your decision making, like really don't. How do you? It's hard to describe in your decision making how to be faster, I guess. But I think it might help if we watch that moment you were talking about, um, where you felt like you were being slow versus as fat.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's basically the entire FD game where like I timestamp specifically the part where he destroyed me on FD where like he hits me with like overshoot in air. I'm like, goodness, I don't know what to do about that position, and like I get stuck and
So it might be that we might notice some trends where
right,
if you're getting like messed up or like getting hit a lot,
right.
that might be the place to look at is like,
Mhm.
are you resetting in a proper way? So is your version of resetting like, is it too slow? Does it leave you more vulnerable? Or are you like really proactive and like fast about your defense?
Uh, my version of resetting, I guess, is like I reset here and there and I make decent decisions here and there. It's just that I like I've heard you critique earlier that like sometimes like whenever I reset I try to get the reversal. That does happen
Yes.
a decent amount.
Yeah, I noticed it
So
when I was watching you play Fiction at
yeah, out of
whatever
Virginia.
that. Yeah, yeah. It was like just like rejoining the scrap, and that can be fine sometimes. But also, are you rejoining it and like a Marth? It's like hard for Marth to be fast in that.
Yeah, the
um,
thing is I don't at least I don't funny enough, I don't consciously really think about that.
mm,
Like
I think
that's
it's
one of
really
the few things I probably just do subconsciously.
right. Yeah, I think that's really important to define. And what is your most common? So for me, when I do that, like, and my bad habit was always trying to get the grab, like after getting messed up.
Mhm.
It's like rejoining the scrap, and I feel like you go for like money S matches a lot, like and I think that's okay a lot of times, especially when you have to lead or whatever. Um, but if it's like a pretty even playing field, like you haven't like demoralized your opponent yet,
Right,
I think it's pretty bad to go for.
right.
But yeah, let's look
Um,
at some of the clips.
yeah, you're gonna share screen it?
Yeah, is it in Facebook?
No, it's in Discord. Just scroll up a
Discord.
little.
I see. I see it. Okay. Oh, wow, this is a long session.
Yeah, no, I timestamp it specifically what I
Cool.
want to explore.
Um, all right, let me know when you can see this.
At least I think I did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I can see it fine.
Okay. So this game in particular, you said.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So this is a moment. Okay, I don't think that was bad, or like particularly slow. Um, do you feel like you shield too much or
Well,
too
let's keep
often?
watching. Let's keep
Okay, yeah,
watching until there's something like
yeah.
blatant.
There's no trend yet. Okay, that was good by him.
Fuck.
Hmm. Okay,
Come on, comboing my throws or comboing my pummels.
right. Also, just a side note,
Mhm.
I've seen you do this a lot. This can
Yeah.
be a free down air.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
this happens
yeah.
a
Okay.
lot when I watch you. This is like completely
Yeah. Yeah.
different, but like it's so much more efficient. If they're off stage like this, it worked out. Okay. Okay, that's definitely a moment, but that was executional. But that's the second time you got messed up from getting sharked. You got caught in your dash back, or like, yeah, your turnaround.
It's like I don't think there's like one execution that stands out to me. I guess other than like
Not so
piv-
far, yeah.
at least like not fucking like pivot grab. Uh, but
Yeah.
it just feels like I don't know. A lot of times I do feel like my execution's random. Also, don't look, don't look.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so just this sequence, because we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
like that grab right there. What's the best case scenario?
Uh, them being
It's like he
stupid.
just runs in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's super. Like if that's like a bad thing to do, right? Like this is like really common. It's like hit on shield, wave dash out as smash. It still felt kind of slow, right?
Yeah, that was definitely. I guess that's one aspect of it.
It was like, yeah, it definitely felt slow.
Hmm.
You come down with backer a lot. Is that something you've been doing recently, or you feel like you always do that?
Random.
Random? Okay. Like that. Mm.
I actually went frame by frame in that moment, and like I was like one frame late with that.
On that S smash?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I'm not as concerned about that. Did you try to weak up air that second?
yeah,
Or okay,
yeah.
yeah. So what I'm also noticing, okay, I think this is a big part of it. You play the stationary game. You like solely play the stationary game where you put up the wall
Hmm.
with like jump fair, jump nair, and like down tilt, but you don't your movement out of it is pretty seldom. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that is important to have. So it's especially on a stage like FD where you have a lot of space to dash. I feel like you're rarely moving out of the wall, which is an important component of like I feel like your walling is good. And then whenever you do move out of it, I've noticed like you go for the instant like there's no patience in the ground game. It's like you start the ground game out of your wall, but
Well,
you what's that?
well, I'll tell you why. It's because I probably put all my neutral stat points on walling and put very little on movement.
On movement and dash. Okay. So I think that's the first place to start in your solo practice. How good do you feel your dash dance is really? Because I don't think it's like your strong suit as a player.
No,
It's like
it's
yeah.
not.
Um I think that is definitely so
Mostly because like I actually found it very hard to understand when I was improving.
dash dancing as a concept?
Yeah.
Okay. So in contrast, that's the first thing I got good at. And walling was something that I struggled with more. Um, but I think so when I mentioned playing unranked, uh, definitely try to just play like random spacies or falcons and just be moving all the time and
Well,
like
okay. Well, against Fox in particular, I guess is where I put my stat points on dash dancing a lot
Mhm.
lesser compared to my walling. Because against Falcon, like
You feel good about your dash dance.
yeah, because like I see very apparent values doing dash
Yes.
dancing.
Okay, I've
Because
noticed that. I think it's one of your stronger matchups too.
yeah, because like I know the value of movement in that matchup.
You don't know the value of movement in
The Fox
Fox
matchup,
and
no, I
what
do
about
not.
Falco?
Like half and half. Eh.
Also,
It's like I'm not. I think it's my movement is stronger versus Falco than Fox, which is not saying much, by the way. But
mhm.
uh,
Another side note, there's no reason you shouldn't be more of a god at power shielding versus Falco.
right.
And also like you're already like doing well versus fiction, but
And
so much of my like when I played fiction the other day, like
yeah.
I think I just like he lasers in place a lot,
Oh yeah, I know.
and I think I just like got
It
him.
it's not the power shield I'm worried about. It's like, what do I do after the power shield? Especially our dash back power shield. I'm like, eh.
Right.
Like,
Um,
I think I get strong conversions off of crouch power shield, and not so much about dash back power shield.
yeah, the problem with crouch power shield is that it's very telegraphed,
Exactly.
and then it limits. So crouch power shield is nice because this is also a complete tangent, but uh, the mix up with crouch power shield is nice because you can be crouching and then like instantly nair out of it if they're gonna like try to come in with like a lay downer or something.
Hmm.
Um, but it is very stationary and limits your movement obviously. Dashback power shield, I think it's important, and I've talked about this before, is like that you don't do something super aggressive out of it all the time.
Yeah.
So like if there's enough space between you and the Falco, just like wave dashing out and then dashing forward and like just keep moving out. Like that's usually what I do is like just keep your movement out of it, either forward or back, depending on where the Falco is, and not like rushing in. But
Yeah.
it's basically like the best way to describe it is like you're basically down tilting versus a fox or something
What
where
I'm
you're
also hearing is that you still move a lot versus Falco, which is definitely like your movement is like
move
a
a lot
very
versus Falco.
crucial component versus Falco, same versus Fox. Whereas for me, like I'm just mostly thinking about zoning in place, which
You're zoning
I could get away with more versus Falco, but like not so much
definitely not
versus
versus
Fox.
Fox. Yeah. No, zoning versus Falco. And when I watched you play Fiction, it was great. Like there were like that stadium game that like you ended on, he could not get in.
Yeah.
Um, and that works a lot of the time,
Right,
but
because like
it's
Falco is
important to
naturally a slower character anyway, so that works out fine. And then Fox is
Mhm.
a very fast Fox.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I was like, I know the value of movement in certain matchups. Like, I actually move quite a bit versus Falcon, and like, I also know the
Versus
value of it
Falcon.
versus Puff as well. Even though like that needs work as well, but like I think that's independent from movement.
That's
Uh,
interesting because I'd say Puff is like it's perfect. Like the way you're playing versus Fox right now is like perfect versus Puff. Like
yeah, yeah,
and I will say movement is really good,
yeah.
but it's far less important than
Right,
versus.
right.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, I know when movement is good versus Puff. I don't know when it's good versus Fox.
Okay. Yeah. Then I think that's the number one thing you need to focus because I think that's the reason people are saying like that you're slow or whatever. It's because a lot of like standing and a lot of just a wall. It's not that you're executionally like that's what I realized. You're not executionally slow or whatever. Um, it's just the way you move. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess like when I bring up like the execution complaints, like instead of it being like a 95% consistency rate, it's like 85%, and that bothers the shit out of me. But I
Hmm.
guess that's not the main problem.
I'd say you're like so that random example I pointed out of like down airing.
Yeah.
I'd say there's definitely a lot of efficiency, more efficiency to improve upon in your punish game for sure. But I don't know if it's necessarily a speed issue.
Yeah, and
Like,
also like typically whenever I guess whenever I'm reserved off of combos where like it feels like I could be doing more off of, like it's usually
mhm.
like actually how I view it is like expanding options I could do. And very often if I'm like kind of turtling up, as Mango puts it,
Hurdling up.
I my punish also kind of looks one dimensional in that regards at times. Like it's like when I start expanding my view and punishes is when it starts to look a little better. And like I feel
Okay.
like that is tangentially related to speed in a way because like kind of like how I hesitate neutral, I sometimes hesitate my punishes or I don't like think enough about it at all.
Right. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Do you feel like you have a better idea of what to work on?
Sort of.
Like,
I need to know why movement is even good versus Fox.
I mean, I can get like a bunch of clips or whatever of me playing, and like,
Sure.
I, I think,
That's definitely one way to go about it. I
I
mean,
think me
you've
versus,
definitely proved it before.
yeah, I think me versus Leffen at the last summit we played, there were a lot of good examples. Um, and particularly about setting up the wall first, primarily, and then being proactive and fast about the movement after, and getting the proper like.
Do you do you consider like wherever you jump movement, like jump forward, jump back? Do you consider that movement?
I consider that part of the wall.
Okay.
Even though that has drift to it, which
Hmm.
I guess, but in my head that's like the wall.
Okay.
Um, and then I consider like dash or wave dash part of the movement after. And like if we watch this, like how often did you even dash dance this game?
Like my game versus SFAT?
Yeah,
Not very much.
right.
It's like very
And
minimal.
it is, yeah. Let's keep saying. Like
As you call me
it's
out, like
interesting.
all I did was just like I did like one way dash back and then like I fucking.
I think this was fine. It's like to put up the wall. Wait, because let's see.
Oh my god! I
And here,
love how the moment you pointed it out, I just like only
yeah.
stayed in place.
But then yeah, once you realize this wall doesn't work and that he's not like
Just blatantly running into it.
yeah, that's when you got to like. I think it would have been really good to just dash forward here, or like just like after maybe ideally after the first nair, practically after the second nair is like when you realize it's like okay he's like spacing around this, so like I need to dash forward since I'm like pretty close to the corner.
Dash forward, huh?
Definitely
Interesting.
forward because you're not center enough to warrant a dash back. I
All
think
right.
because he can like pretty safely overshoot you here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I was gonna say here. It's like it's also like when I like brought up as a tangent that like I struggle versus boxes that are kind of in my face but don't immediately approach.
Uh-huh.
Like, is part of the reason why when you bring up my issue of walling yet again, my mind is all like, well, we'll just call out his very specific timing of your wall as opposed to I guess
Oh, so
simplifying
it's
it.
just like putting a band-aid over it.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
opposed to like simplifying it with movement like you're suggesting.
Mhm.
Um, it's like I guess maybe that might be a reason why I struggle versus rushdown styles that don't immediately go in because like my bandage solution works. It used to actually work really well versus Cody since like he would make his intentions obvious.
Well, it worked really well versus Cody because he probably full hopped a
Yeah,
lot.
and like when he full up the lot, it's
Because
like
it slows it down. That's perfect for you.
yeah,
Because
and
that's what I based my walling off of in the matchup was versus Cody.
yeah,
And like I was like, oh, I love this match. I was like, this is perfect. I can see
yeah,
everything in like slow motion.
yeah, exactly. And then like
Yeah,
versus SFAT, who's like being grounded and like
he takes his
not
time.
yeah takes his time on when to get around my wall. That's where I've always found like I don't know what I'm doing at that point. And
Hmm.
it's like it feels very lopsided on his favor in neutral, which I know that's not right. That ain't right.
Yeah.
And
I mean, versus Zach, I've noticed. So I can down tilt him forever, is what I've done. Because he's really good about spacing around your aerials.
yeah,
And then once you've poked him enough, that's when he becomes more reckless. And that's where the dash dance becomes more pertinent. It's like, now I can like space around him. Because like you kind of like frustrate him with these down tilts. And he's like, oh, my ground game's not working.
yeah,
And then he tries to be more proactive, which is what Mango's really good at. And Zach's not as good at.
right. And
Um,
yeah,
is like,
it's I
yeah.
guess it's like it sounds like my some parts of my speed issue is kind of one not understanding movement and two just like kind of like processing speed I'm kind of seeing,
Hmm. Yeah. Finish this out.
which is like the reason why I found myself more comfortable versus Falcon as of late is because like I actually got like a pretty good lesson on it with PP, and like that's why like as of late like my processing speed versus Falcon has gotten like much faster
Yeah.
compared to the past because like I actually know a lot of positions now that used to be very unclear to me.
Right. Okay. Also, are you tech chasing here just because percent?
Yeah, it's only because of percent. I can't chain grab at this, and which ends up being a mix up. And I guess I could like up throw up tilt.
Yeah. I guess Up tilt once it knocks down into a tech chase is probably just better, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it harder to set up the tech chase after that, or
What do you mean?
to like tech chase out of
Oh,
that up tilt?
I mean, technically, but at worst, you have pretty good positioning, and like you're,
Yeah,
you're just really looking out to cover tech in place or tech roll in, and a lot of times they're like preemptively teching already. So like it's actually pretty common to see like a missed tech
yeah.
off of up tilt. So that's actually the first thing I'm looking out for, anyways, like up tilt to dash attack.
I feel like Mango never misses that tech.
Yeah, and then like with other people, it's like okay,
Yeah,
you just have to typically tech chase, or maybe just like theory crafting off of that, you could just up throw to do nothing and dare in place.
true. I will say, I think my tech chase, I don't know if you've been watching. I feel like it's gotten way
Oh yeah,
better.
I've been watching. It's
I
gotten
don't
so
wave
much
dash all
better.
the time. I wave dash sometimes. I don't know why I I need to identify why I sometimes walk and sometimes I wave dash.
If
Because
they DI hard in, it doesn't matter.
I guess so, yeah. On DI down and away, wave dash is definitely better.
Yeah, this is the play.
Yeah. But I think another, so the rhythm thing helped me. Um, and then I think a big realization was that I have so much time if they don't tech in place. Like there's so much time to get the tech rolls, and I'd never had that conscious thought before. Where
Yeah,
I think I made it seem harder in my head than it was. But there's literally if they tech roll, I have so much time to just like recognize that and get it.
yeah, and if you saw Spark's tutorial thing on SSBN tutorials, it's like he actually advocates to react as late as possible. So then, if they don't tech in place, then like you saw that they tech rolled a long time ago.
To react as late as possible.
Yeah, because like when why react earlier than you need to?
Okay. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
that's like that plays into part about the rhythm stuff is that you want to react at a right rhythm also as late as
Mm.
possible. So then like you
Gotcha.
have the most generous reactions possible,
Yeah. Okay.
which it's the most recent videos in SPM tutorials.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know like the trick about tech chasing spacies is like how they split their legs.
Oh, yeah, the visual cue.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
also helps a ton. But yeah, I mean, little tangent. Uh,
Yeah.
what were we talking about? How slow I am.
Uh, what were we talking about? So Zach being like taking his time on the ground game
Yeah,
is like throwing you off. Why did that smash work? Let me say it again. Was it just bad? I feel like that was bad, but
yeah. I'm willing to say it's bad, and like I missed my turnaround up to that. Would have missed, but kind of. Yeah, stuff like that. It like makes me lose confidence in my movement
mm-hmm.
because it never really had confidence to begin with.
Wow, that was a good call out.
Like, can you go back?
I never get stuff like that. We'll go back more.
Yeah, go back to when I got caught out on my movement. Yeah, here. It's like I just don't have this. Like makes me want to just
Oh,
wall more.
I love running Shen because I feel like I'm always like spaced right outside of, unless like because you have like center here and like from where he's doing the running, I feel like this was actually a pretty bad running Shen. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So let me try to understand this. I think it's just you not understanding the threat range. Like you haven't experimented enough with the threat ranges and your dash dance versus Fox. Because
Also, I guess a little other tangent. Like, what if they down tilt here?
in the corner. So I mean, he hasn't really down tilted yet,
Yeah,
but I will say like this down tilt used to be like the thing in
yeah,
like 2017, 2018,
hmm
just because of Armada,
yeah,
and I think it's pretty bad. Um, because if they're like if down tilting becomes more of a threat at like at this percent, I guess, but once it's in your like understanding of like something that they can do, I feel like you can get a lot like jump over or just like straight up shielding it, or if you're at CC percent, just CC.
Yeah.
Um, because I guess it's kind of hard to differentiate if they're gonna running shine or down tilt, run up down tilt. But no one really plays that mix up, I guess. So
Right.
I don't know if it's that much to worry about.
I suppose.
Because Mango's the best at running shining, but you will never catch him run up down tilting. Like that is just not in something he does. Um, Pretty much the only people who use it now are like Kalindi sometimes,
Yeah.
and like
All right.
maybe Zach. But if you notice that they do go for it and it's in your like, it's one of the easiest things to deal with, I'd say.
Right. So the thing about threat ranges that I guess confuses me in this matchup is
Hmm.
like for Falcon, it the way how I see his threat ranges is that they're very rigid. Like
Yeah,
Falcon's threat ranges, there's only so many ways he could mix it up. Versus Fox, I feel like there's like a lot of ways he could mix up his threat ranges. That's what makes me uncomfortable using movement in this matchup.
so I think Falcon can actually mix up his threat ranges a lot, but we don't see it that often.
Sure, I
Um,
guess.
because I feel like his dash dance is really good, and like from where he can like, uh, most Falcons are pretty predictable about like where they set it up, but Fox, I feel like it's more simple to understand like how he can
It's funny
threaten
how
based
you're
off his
saying
movement.
Fox is the more rigid one. And I like,
Well,
I don't
I
see that
think
in my head.
maybe it's just a comfort thing between the both of us.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think if you just play around like so, you should make like a chart of like possible threat ranges in your head versus
hmm
Fox, and like I think there are like three different types of foxes. So I feel like we talked about this before. Um, but one would be like on one end of the spectrum, it's like Mango, Cobalt, or like someone like Meds, um, who are mostly gonna running shine, mostly gonna like try to short hop drill, and like overshoot nair, and all out of like short hop, right? And so you have to understand how to mitigate that, um, with like your walling and dash dance. So maybe short hop nair at early percents is the best way to deal with like short hop drill, uh, and like dash back grab versus running shine, um, and then so on, right?
hmm
Then I'd say Zach is somewhere in the middle,
yeah,
um, along with like Kalindi and Cody. Um, Cody used to be on the opposite spectrum, I think,
yeah.
of like super full hoppy, um, but not so much anymore. I think Cody is leaning more towards like the first style that I described,
Yeah.
um,
I feel like
uh,
I struggle most with just like the middle style
the
foxes,
middle style.
and sometimes I
'Cause-
guess the ones I don't approach, but it's like whatever.
So the middle style is gonna be using those same options as the first style, but at a more like patient rate, right?
Right.
So it's not traditionally rush down,
hmm
but they're gonna use those rush down options at like I'm not gonna say offbeat because I think that everyone in that like style has like
Yeah, like they,
some
Mango
rhythmic
does it as an
tendencies.
off bite beat too.
Yeah, he does it offbeat and like frequently,
Yeah.
and I think that's really good. But the problem with the style is that if you're they usually play too far away from you,
Yeah.
um, and it's really hard. Like it's really hard to like have so much space between you and the Marth as a fox, and then get the short hop drill instead of like already like creating that proactive spacing and like scrapping range. Then it makes more sense to get it. But if there's that's why your dash chance is so good, is because if there's so much space between you, they can't set up those threatening things really without like inching forward. Um, and it's your job as a Marth to like limit that with your movement.
Interesting. I have
Does
to
that make
think about
sense?
that. Yeah.
Um, and then the last style I'd say is like more like platform campy, which I think is terrible. Um, I guess I'm not gonna name like particular names or whatever, but like yeah,
You could say it. You could say it, but
I,
yeah, no need
but yeah,
to.
I think like platform camping is just terrible versus Marth. Um, unless you have like a strict lead on Dreamland.
Yeah,
Um, like super full hoppy. Um, yeah, I don't think that style is like particularly that great.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah, all you do is like probably like
and I think your style works perfectly versus that as it is.
yeah, like call
Do you
out whatever or
do you
like
feel
take
like super
space.
campy foxes like you do okay versus?
Uh, I guess it's when the campy foxes start to lean towards the middle is when it starts to be more problematic.
Hmm.
But most of them are not too problematic.
Okay.
And then at that point, when they're leaning towards the middle, they're the middle style,
Right. Okay.
as opposed to like the polarized, like I'm never gonna approach. I'm gonna platform like that part. It's like whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's like the middle style primarily within either the defensive or the offensive kind of tangent of that is like that's where I tend to struggle the most, and it's probably due to my missing component of my movement, which probably draws into like my speed issue.
So would you say that you feel more comfortable? Like, do you have a better when you play Mango's Fox versus Zach's Fox? Do you feel like you have more of an idea of what to do versus Mango's?
No, they're both Mango. I don't know what the hell he's doing,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
like I guess for a more reasonable comparison, I
Cobalt.
guess
Have you
like
played Cobalt?
I've never played Cold. Okay, I haven't played him in a long time, but
Yeah.
like I mean I played Meds and Lucky for reference,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I do okay versus them. Like and like I did fine versus Cody,
I
uh,
think it's because
who tried to play like an aggressive style with full hop.
they're probably likely to run into your wall more
Exactly.
frequently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they kind of just give me the free hit, frankly, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take it versus like a fiction style fox where it's like,
I'm not gonna get this free. You're not gonna get a free hit.
yeah, and while at the same time he's being proactive, so it's like I never really figured it out,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's like the one in the middle, as I'm saying, as I'm complaining to you right now, that's like the one I struggle with the most at the moment.
Yeah.
Uh, where I guess it's because I don't have like an established chart, which makes my processing speed really slow.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it's important to have those like few approaches in your head as you're playing them because it's only so many
Yeah,
um,
true.
that you have to be aware of. And once you're comfortable with your move, like it feels so much better. Like when I was just a dash dance grabber, it was like it was just really funny because it was just beating the same like a few different things with just dash dance grab, and when you mix it in with the wall, it's just like that's why people hate Marth. It's like how do I get in?
Yeah, no, like when you're just a dash dance grabber, you still beat like 99% foxes.
Yeah, I
Whereas
thought
if I'm just a waller, I feel like yeah, I could beat a lot of foxes. It's just that there's a lot more holes.
right, yeah, and obviously things have changed a lot since. Uh,
Yeah,
I think a lot of
obviously,
people have adapted to like that kind of dash dancing style.
right?
Um, but yeah, I think it's important to find that balance where you're definitely like solely zoned in on the wall right now, which
Yeah,
is yeah. And so I think so. We started this lesson by saying like how do we remedy you being slow? I still think playing Fox is beneficial, but I've realized that it's not really a speed thing as much as like the way you move.
right.
Is a better way to phrase it.
Yeah, I guess the way how I move. I mean, there's still like little things like because when I was talking to Cody at Summit, he gave me good critiques on my speed. Whereas like, yeah, your wave dashes forward smashes like you walk a little when you wave dash, and that's giving a cue, and that's why you're slow. And then like
Yeah.
your waveland fair from side platform, which by the way, I still don't even know if it's fast. Like I see you do it lightning fast, and then when I do it, like they shield it. So
Are
it's
you
like
fast falling it?
I think so. Like I think it's
uh,
fast enough, and then they just shield
if
it
you're not fast
anyways.
falling it, that's definitely terrible because it's probably just like they're watching you tap in slow motion.
Yeah, so it's like there's definitely probably some instances where like super slow, which I mean I could try to
I feel like
demonstrate it to you really quick, but it's like I don't.
one
Eh,
spot you're definitely better than me at is ledge. I feel like your execution around there is really good.
the ledge, huh?
I think so. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I like thought of a mixer about it like a long time ago, and I haven't thought about it since.
Hmm.
Where like
It just feels ingrained.
I just like take my time if I feel like I need to, and then like do the fair from ledge. Because like actually like whenever Spaceys like F smash from it, like they're not spacing around it. They're just F smashing your get up, your
Right.
double jump. Like that's actually a gimmick.
Yeah, I get hit by it all the time.
Yeah, if you get enough invincibility from the ledge, that F
I
smash
can
should
fair
never
it.
hit you. The
Okay.
only time they should be hitting you off of it is if they're whiff punishing around your fair specifically, which
Hmm.
there's a mix up around that where you could fake that fair. But if they are just straight up S smashing you, like I've seen Mego do it time to time, and I get pissed off whenever I get hit by it. That's basically an execution test.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so basically, I need to find more value of movement off of Fox. But like, is there like any blatant speed stuff that I guess you could identify based on the VOD or like just critiquing me in
Mm,
general?
I would definitely say like your wave dash, like what you do at a wave dash, like Cody was saying. That's like the most obvious to me. And I think it was solely F smash in this game, and like pretty like slow out of the wave dash.
Pretty solid the wave dash. All right.
Yeah. Because
So
I could
I
definitely like,
practice wave dashing too much. I gotta actually do something off of the wave dash.
yeah. um, just like even like wave dash and then like just movement out of it instead of always doing something aggressive out of it
True.
is
True.
just like way better.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of what else speed wise.
Yeah, like have you
Um,
seen me do Waveland Fair from the ledge?
Not really. Let me see if around.
Well, not
See if it.
here, not here, but like I mean, I could show you right now and see if
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
if it's
Yeah, you can
suitable.
show me.
Uh,
And
yeah, let me just boot it up really quick. Shoot. Uh, not properly plugged in. This should be plugged in. But yeah, I mean, feel like we talked about good tomorrow. Is
yeah,
is that
yeah,
it's a matter of I guess clarifying a few things here and there and actually implementing it.
yeah.
Turns out it just wasn't plugged in, huh?
Okay, I'm gonna
I
search for
should
you
have
and
seen it, but
use the bathroom.
yeah. Alright.
Are we connecting, or are you just gonna do
Uh,
it in like?
I was just gonna like show you through
Okay, yeah, that
the
works
punch,
on
but
Discord.
like I'm connecting.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna pee.
Dude, I can't connect any of these. What a mess, Matt. You wanna play?
You hear me? Is my shit muted? Let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha.
Alright, this bandage should work. Yeah, I accidentally unplugged my audio
Mike.
stuff. Yeah, my mic when I meant to play something else. But yeah, just booted up the Wave Dash event, and you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. I'm also gonna boot up just to make sure.
So yeah, this
I
is
see
how
it.
my Waveland fair looks like.
Okay. Let me go on Battlefield, actually.
Like, I have no idea if this is like even like the fastest possible ones.
Okay, I think I know. I think a lot of the time when I do it from double jump.
I see. Oh no, I've seen you do it just like out of a full hop at
I've definitely
times.
done it off of full hop, yeah. I think, yeah, I think your speed like that is normal.
Yeah, I've never practiced Alpha double jump before, so that's gonna take some adjustment. But yeah, like,
Double jump is usually when I'm like more centered and like drifting back to the platform. So I do like the backward jump. Yeah, like that.
interesting. So that's when you say that you use this the most?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then let me see. I do so. That's also say that I think that this is still like pretty bad.
The Waveland fairs?
Yeah.
You think
Again,
overall it's a gimmick?
uh, it might be. The person I get it versus the most is Hungrybox,
Of
and
course.
it's actually so money versus him. Like, but like he like always gets hit by the stray one, and then the person who gets hit by it least is like Mango.
Yeah.
But I have other mix-ups with Mango, so I've done like movement out of it, so like reset and like dash dance, or like waveland out, or like uh movement and then grab, or just straight up F smash, like waveland forward F smash.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah,
Okay, I just want to like make sure that
it looks
I'm
fast enough to
not
me. Yeah,
I'm not like being ultra slow because before it used to be really slow. Like Cody told me like I would do it like this, like
you probably just weren't fast following it.
yeah, something like that, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely super slow.
Yeah. All right. Um,
Do you fast follow your shield drops? Out of curiosity,
do I? I think I do.
you do. Yeah.
I mean, now that you brought it up, maybe I just did it because you says so, but I mean,
Yeah,
I guess I'll do it now.
yeah, it's definitely really good. It's not as important with like spacies, I think, but with like Marth and Cheek, it's like really
For sure.
vital, I'd say.
Yeah. Um, so, do you think a lot of my speed issue, like when you said that, like you noticed some speed stuff at Summit, do you think that really
Uh-huh.
stemmed from movement or like something else?
I think it stems completely from movement, yeah. So
Interesting.
I'm trying to think of like when we played. I think when you were standing still a lot of the time, it gave me an idea of like I felt like I could see your like wave dash S smash is coming once you started standing still. Like I feel like I could see the tree in my head. I'm
Yeah.
like, what was gonna happen
Versus
next?
if I'm moving, it's a little bit more
It's
ambiguous.
more ambiguous, yeah. I'd say the Martha you can get away with that kind of stationary wall style a little more, but it's still pretty important to like have the dash dance like to reset to keep it ambiguous. Um, we can play. I don't know if you're down to play.